I have a story time for you. I went out on a date this evening. This particular gentleman, he's been trying to get me to go on a date with him, but when I first met him, it was my birthday, and the week right after. And the week right after, he was going to Italy. So he went to Italy and was there for a whole month. So we weren't really able to meet. And so he'd been chatting with me back and forth a little bit. And once he got back from Italy, which was just a couple of weeks ago, he decided, let me take you out on a date. And I said, sure, well, we can go. I picked Capo Masa, which is in the Upper East Side, is like a Japanese restaurant. He was a little bit indecisive about the time. He kept like changing it. And so I already got dressed and I decided to go out for, because I thought, maybe I'm not going to meet this guy, because he kept changing the times. So I told him, like, hey, look, I'm out. I'm going to be at Penelope's, which is a bar. Like, if you want us to still have this dinner, how about your driver pick me up from there? And he said, okay. So, I'm out like mixing and mingling, and I get a phone call and it's him, and he's like, hey, I'm here. And I was like, oh, because actually I wasn't at that bar. I was at the place next to it. Because I just, I wasn't sure like how things are going to work out, and so I was like, oh, okay. So I like cashed out my drink and then hopped in the car, and his driver took us to the Japanese restaurant Kapamasa. On our way there, as we were going, he was like, might have to keep the night short because I do have an early morning. He lives in Greenwich also. He's gonna have to go back to Greenwich, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So we go to Capo Masa. He didn't make any reservations. We walk in. It's like 9-something p.m. It almost looked like they were about closing, and I think we were the last ones. We had the dinner, and dinner's okay. Like, it was for a first date, it was okay. And he shared some stories, we shared some laughter, and that was it. As we were heading back to the car, it was such a lovely day out today. Like, if anyone was out, and it's like 83 degrees earlier today, and then this evening it was just lovely breeze, lovely summer evening. And so, I linked our arms together, and I was like, oh, it's such a lovely summer evening. How about we take a stroll? We're in the Upper East Side, and everyone was out. The Carlisle Hotel, the Mark was right there. Just so many people were like, it was like a busy evening. And he was like, no, I really have this early morning. I have to go back to Connecticut, back to Greenwich. Where can my driver drop you? I might have mentioned or failed to mention, he gave me this bouquet, and I thought to myself, well, I wouldn't want to carry this bouquet, with me around. So I was like, hey, how about you just drop me off at home at my place? So his driver, we hop in the car, his driver dropped me off at my place, and then I put my bouquet of roses into a vase, and I touched up my makeup again, just powdered my face, and stepped back out because it's a lovely night. I'm young. We go out. So then that's what I did. I went back to the bar that I initially told him that I was going to be in. And as I'm entering, the security guy was like, he's there. And in my mind, I'm thinking, who is he talking about? Like, is he trying to entice me? Like, ooh, like maybe my future husband is there, or who's there? So I was like, ooh. And he's just like, he's there. So I walk in. The first person I see is my date. The guy who was like, no, I have an early morning. He stressed to me this early morning he mentioned about 2 times. And I feel like, hello? I'm going to drop you off because I have an early morning and my driver's going to take me right to Greenwich. I can't really spend further time with you tonight. Was at the bar with a drink in his hand. And you should have seen the way he looked at me. He was shocked. He was just like, and I was like, oh, this is Greenwich? This is Greenwich? And he's just frozen in time, shocked. He goes to one end of the bar, I go to the other end of the bar. You would have never guessed that me and this man had just broken bread 15 minutes ago. You would have never guessed that we even knew each other. He was literally the other end of the bar. I'm over at my end of the bar. As soon as I got to the bar, a gentleman came up to me and started talking and brought me a drink. And I'm just looking at this man across the table like, you were in the car telling me, like, you're ready to find love and find a wife and start a family. You didn't want to take a stroll because you had this early morning in Greenwich tomorrow. But here you are at the bar getting a drink. Interesting. I'm like, I have to share this story. So anyway, I guess that's the end of this whole courtship thing. It'd been 2 months, so he'd been trying to talk to me, trying to get me out to meet with him. Had a good time, and telling me how beautiful I am and all these things. Got me a bouquet of roses for our first date, which I thought was so sweet. The driver picked me up, driver dropped me home, and there my date is at the bar. Crazy. I'm like, I have to share this story with you girls because you can't make this up. You literally can't make this up.